People who haven't worked with you will not know the kind of vision that you have and how hard you push and how much of yourself you dedicate to this firm and to building. We work with founders every day and they have to continuously evolve their business. How do you do that? Like, I don't know when you get time to do that. So, but how do you get perspective and think about evolving the firm?
So first of all, I think on the working side of things, it very seldom really feels like work. Obviously, like now and then you're looking through legal documents and you're doing finance and compliance and so on. But most of the time it's incredibly exciting. And I think as people are thinking through what they're doing, I think over time you kind of wanna optimize your time to spend more and more of your time towards what you really want to spend your life doing, right? And I think throughout my life journey, I think things have always been very exciting, actually, right? I went to United World College here in Wales. This was this international boarding school. Had a great time in high school. I was in Norwegian Naval Special Forces. It was a tremendous experience. We met at Harvard, right, which was a great time. And then I was in McKinsey, was incredible, and then building Solara was great. But as you think through all those experiences, like Harvard was great, but I knew I didn't want to be an academic. McKinsey was amazing, but I knew I didn't want to spend the rest of my life giving other people advice. Solara was incredible because we were building a company and we hired a lot of people, and it was successful. And we built a great brand. But ultimately, we were selling clothes to people. I didn't want to spend the rest of my life maybe making people better dressed, right? But there's a journey there where I got closer and closer to spending my time on what I really want to spend my time on. And with Antler, you have this kind of perfect fit where we can build a really exciting business culture, people in our company. And we spend our time working with incredible people that are solving important problems and building a lot of value all across the globe, right? So I think part of it is that, right? When everything aligns, it becomes very easy to spend a lot of time working on it. So I feel very privileged to be able to do that. And as we think about the firm evolution going forward, it's literally going to continue, I think, where we iterate and learn more about how we can be a great partner to the founders. Our North Star is like, if we can be helpful to 100% of the best companies in the world that are solving the world's most important problems, that would be great. Yeah. We'll never hit 100%. But if we can get closer and closer to that, be more and more helpful, and if we can even bring it to a level where it's 110 or 120%, because perhaps some of those companies wouldn't have gotten off the ground if we weren't there in the really early stages, that would be amazing, right? So that's what we're driving for every day. And I think we're probably kind of 1%, I talk about this all the time. I think we're really 1% on the way, both in terms of the value we can provide to our founders, which is now a lot, but I think there's much more we can do in the future. And also in terms of evolving the long-term value proposition to the founders, the ecosystem, and our LPs.
So when you're on that, because you're right? Part of it is about, and we've talked just moments ago about iterating what we're already doing and getting better at that, but then building out the offering. How do you balance that set of priorities, and how do you inform yourself about the new creation, right? The new things that you want to create.
For us, it's actually somewhat straightforward. In the end, we have a flywheel, right, which we talk about a lot, which is great founders build great companies. Great companies deliver great returns. Great returns allows us to raise more capital. More capital allows us to invest back into the platform, which makes us more valuable to the best founders, which will lead to even better founders. And in the middle, you kind of build a brand, right? And that attractiveness to the best founders in the world. And the way we kind of look at prioritization is, if something doesn't contribute to this flywheel at all, we shouldn't do it, right? And I think in venture capital and innovation, it's very easy to waste a lot of time, right? Because there's a lot of people who want to talk to you about various things, and there's conferences everywhere, there's meetups, you can get very, very busy without achieving anything in innovation. So you gotta have a good prioritization network, and our prioritization network is rather simple, really. So if you have anything on your plate that doesn't make the flywheel better, let's not do it. If you have to prioritize, which you obviously have to do every week, look at what has the biggest effect on that, right? And I think if we are successful in doing that, which literally always comes down to having a founder in the room when you make decisions, then we will be a great platform that adds a lot of value to the world and contributes to great people. And and we get these discoveries come all the time, and we evolve as a platform. Like, for example, one of the things we developed, as we spoke about with Elevate, is we now do a lot of direct investments also in later stage companies, because we just lost out to them in the early days. In the early days, we would be, okay, well, we couldn't get in early, so then we won't do it later. But now it's really all about being a part and a contributor to those best companies in the world, whether we get in at pre-seed or seed or Series A.
Okay, so looking back 7 and a bit years, what do you think? If I know that's this is a hard question. I acknowledge this is a hard question. But looking back over the last 7 and a bit years, what do you think has been the firm's most important achievement? What is it that you're kind of proudest of, and you think has most contributed towards realizing that vision that you get up every day for?
I think number one, obviously now it's incredibly exciting to have been behind and the first investor into companies that are making tens of millions of people across the globe, making their life better, more productive, being behind companies that are solving important problems and really making the world better. I know that's a bit of a cliche, but they are actually making the world better. And then obviously the exciting thing as well is that every year we get to be part of 400 to 500 of these opportunities, right, where people are doing really hard things and dedicating 5 to 10 to 20 years of their life to achieve it, and being there at inception is insanely exciting. So that whole thing, I think, is by far number one. And then number two is obviously, I think, very proud of the culture we built. I think we built a great culture of excellence all across the globe. And whether you pop by our office in Nairobi or in Lagos or in Seoul or in San Francisco, which we just launched, or Stockholm or Helsinki, you kind of come in there and there's a ton of energy and partners who really, really care about making a difference in the ecosystem and backing the best founders who come out of there, right? So those two things combined is kind of one of the magical things with Antler, right? Because if you were building your own company, you kind of only have the one. but we get the opportunity
to be in literally thousands of stories.
Yes, which is very exciting. And that will just get more and more exciting over time, right? Yeah. So I think when I'm talking to my grandchildren at some point, which hopefully I'll get, or other people in the team, I think that's what you probably will look back on, is like being part of creating those stories.